but she feared husband would thwart their plans.
I like routine.
Now somewhere between 40, there it is, that's it. Press something.
Where?
On the computer.
Ah! What's it doing? Look!
That's what I did. Alright, yeah, I'll turn that down a bit.
So what was the point? Why would you do that? Just
Because
to make words on the screen?
You could write little programs. No, you could write little programs.
To, like, that would do what?
Not very much. You could write like you know, like messages, and not you could send them to anyone because there was no internet.
That's what I'm asking. What was the point?
It didn't have to be a point.
What? So you just wrote it?
It was just like, it was so amazing. It was just so amazingly amazing that
you could write something.
You could just do it on a television screen, and you could. But anyway, that's what it was, and the information it gave you was that kind of. I can show you in a book. All right. Well, you just gave it very simple instructions. So the word print will appear on one of those keys, and then you put in simple numbers and a basic instruction like the letter, and it would follow one after the other. So you started off with 10, then you did 20, then you did 30. So each line was a different instruction. Yeah, and you could do basic maths on it, like you got sines, cosines. You could do trigonometry and things, and this is before any kind of calculator. So it was pretty. It seemed pretty amazing at the time because it was like all. You think about it, like men just been to the moon. There were no computers as such on the aircraft that went to the moon. The rockets and the capsules had very basic things that were no better than they weren't even as good as a modern calculator. You know, and so this was like the latest amazing thing.
Yeah.
And the government was supporting. The BBC was that the government said, you know, this is the future, and the BBC was putting out. Well, BASIC is actually a programming language, but they were putting out basic things about how the computers worked and encouraging them. And they were publishing books and doing a regular program about it, and you stored the information and the programs on audio tapes. I mean, like old-fashioned audio tapes, not anything. And you plugged that into your computer and stored it on that, and they were giving you over-the-air digital programs that just sounded like if you should happen to phone into a fax machine and it makes that zzz sort of noise. It sounded like that, but you could download that over the airwaves onto your audio cassette and then plug that in, play that on your telly, and it would give you basic things. And you know, they were promoting it to do your basic accounts and do a bit of maths, and it was all pretty ropey stuff. But compared with what anyone had done before, you've got to bear in mind that beforehand, all this stuff was done on machines that cost millions of pounds. You know, they had highly trained specialists. You know, you had to do, I don't know, like a master's or a PhD in it or whatever.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't the kind of thing that you would do. And you could write your name and keep lists of addresses of your neighbours and your mates and your relatives and all kinds of rubbish, and you know. But I was a young engineering worker, and it all seemed like fantastic.
Yeah.
You know, and I spent more than a week when the calculators came out. I spent more than a week's wages on it.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought it was the bee's knees. I really thought it was something special. You know. And I could do these things, and instead of taking ages to work it all out longhand on a bit of paper, or alternatively use a slide rule, you know, I could just press some buttons on a computer and it all popped up. All right, I had to program it first if it was on a ZX81, but on a calculator, it would come up, and it was still basically the 4 basic rules of arithmetic plus square roots and squaring and percentages. It didn't do anything else, but it was still like exciting and amazing, you know.
Mm.